Welcome back. I'm Dr. Jen Faboni, better known as DocJenFit, and I have my bestie Moshgan here, who actually does deal with crunchy knees. She was a professional dancer, and since then it does put a lot of pressure on your knees, and she also deals with hypermobility throughout her body, so her knees have taken on a lot of pressure over time. However, she still lifts. She is still a badass, and there's so much that you can still do because crunchy knees isn't a bad thing, especially if it's not associated with pain. So don't be scared to continue moving. Now we have a lot more on this on a podcast from the Optimal Body Podcast, so please tune into that podcast to really understand and learn more about this crunchy knees, this crepitus in the knees and what it means. But if you are dealing with pain from crunchy knees, especially if you're doing something like front lunges, let's mix it up. So first, we're going to start with changing from a front lunge to a reverse lunge. This is a really great way to still be able to work the muscles, especially a lot of people think when I'm doing a lunge, I still am going to get your quads working because you're bending in your knee, but we want to get a lot of glutes as well. So a reverse lunge is a great way to do it, and it takes less pressure on the knee. So Moshgan is going to come forward here. Great. And come into a reverse lunge position. So do just kind of like chest up, knee forward, reverse lunge, and what that might look like. There we go. And she has a lot of crunchiness in the knees that is happening when she does that. So come back up. We're going to change this up a little bit. So let's actually stand on this leg as the leg that's going. You're going to take your hand on your hip, and as she goes into the lunge, she's going to lead this hip back and the other arm is going to reach forward. What this is going to do is cause a little bit of slight rotation, but her hip comes back and then she presses through the heel to stand. And I didn't hear anything that time. You might have heard stuff, but I didn't hear anything. It was a lot less quiet. So think of taking a little bit longer of a step here. That hip is going to go back so that that hip is directly over the back knee and the knee doesn't come quite as far forward. Do you feel your glutes working on that? So you still feel a lot of glute power. Just do a couple more so people can see. You can step out just a bit more. There we go. Yep, hip back and then really press to that knee to come forward. Make sure you keep the ball of the foot into the ground as well. And this rotation kind of gets her knee over her nose over her knee, over her toe. It keeps perfect alignment from the hip all the way out to that knee so that there's no increased pressure. We really get to open up that hip and increase that glute strength. Great. Now we're going to switch it over and we're going to do more of a static lunge. This is going to help prepare us for that front lunge by putting a little bit more pressure into the knee and quad. So we're actually going to get something that helps to create a higher surface. So somehow here, I'm going to pull out this 35-pound weight. Okay. Now, the thing about this weight is that we just want it to be a couple inches off the ground. We don't want a step stool that's going to be a little bit too high and too much demand for the knee. She's going to put one foot forward on here. Let's do the other leg. And we'll just turn all the way that way. There we go. And she's going to start in a big lunge. So step that leg out. There we go. Now, as she comes down, we actually want that hip still to come back. That arm can come forward, but she's going to put pressure onto that knee and then come up. So we might want to come in just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. We want that knee to start to come forward, and this is going to put a lot more angle and bend into that knee and then coming up. So if it is too much to tolerate this amount of bend, that's where you can scoot back just a little bit more. So scoot that, back foot, and it creates that longer lunge, hip back. Now she doesn't have quite as much bend into that knee. Do you feel the difference there? But we want to, she can tolerate it. She's strong. So this is a great way to also modify. If you're like, well, I want to use weights, you can always take a weight into this hand and just drop it down toward the floor as you come into it. If you want to weight in both hands, that's totally fine. So pretend you have two weights. Perfect. That knee is still coming forward and she's still putting pressure onto that knee, but she's doing it in a slow, controlled manner. Now, one more way to bump this up and really start to increase that strength and tolerance around that knee. So we're going to take a band here. So this is actually like a think of like a thin pull-up band or a thick resistance band. We have this a part of the Optimal Body Therapy Kit. We can have the link up above, down below, somewhere around here. And what Mo's going to do is put this on around her knee. Yep. So take her leg into it. It's going to go right on the back of the knee. Now, this is actually going to create more resistance as she's coming up out of the exercise, and it's going to help her to say, it's okay to have that knee come forward. So the band's going to help with that knee coming forward. So go ahead. That hip will still come back. Knee comes forward, and then she extends and presses against the band. So now she's increasing that quad strength a lot. As she comes down, she's getting that good bend, that better range of motion into the knee, and we're teaching the body it is okay to load the quads. It is okay to load the knee. It is safe, and your body over time is going to start to build this tolerance, this strength, so you can go into any kind of lunge that you want, even if you continue to hear sounds, and you're going to feel so much stronger within your body because you know that you can tolerate it a lot more. Amazing. Don't forget, if you love what you're learning, I have so much more in stock for you. So hit that subscribe button, check out the other videos I've done in the past, and leave any comments of any suggestions that you have for videos in the future. And I can't wait to help you feel incredible and amazing within your body.